G'day, Tom Cosm here. This is a tutorial video for my current live set that I put online. It's called the Megaset, which is just a big collaboration of all the things that I've learned over the last 5 years put into one big set, because it's got a whole bunch of tunes. You can transition between tunes, you can route audio here and there. There's all these effects, dummy clips and whatnot. So this is my biggest project yet, and this is a video which will cover the functionality of it. If you want to grab this set and you don't know what I'm talking about, go to www.cosm.co.nz/megaset and you'll be able to download it and have lots of fun and play with it. Hope you enjoy it. Click us an email if you've got any problems. tom@cosm.co.nz. Cool, jump into it. This is the first screen that you're presented with when you first open up the Megaset, and it's kind of similar to my previous live sets in the sense that I've got I've got 6 tracks per song. So I've taken my song, I've written it in the studio, and I've converted it into 6 separate layers which contain everything. So all the bass elements of my tune go into the bass track, all my kick elements, all my percussive instruments, synths, hi-hats, whatnot. I've got synth stuff, I've got techie, glitchy stuff, and I've got rest, which is everything else. So this is how I like to separate my tracks. I like to separate up into 6 layers because it's easy to manage, it's doable, it still gives you a large element of control. And if you're interested in how to get your tune into this format where there are 6 individual layers cut up into loops in a very easy way, there is a video tutorial on my website, moving from the studio to live performance, which you can check out. So I've got these first set of 6, and you can see we've got a song here. This is a song called Up in the Downs. This is a new song, so this is a new set of loops and stuff, separate to my last live packs. And so that's all good. So these are all the loops here. But if we go across here, you can see that I've got a separate set of 6, exactly the same bass, kick, percussion, syn, tech, rest, but this is a second lot. So you can call this kind of track 2 over here. This is track 2, and you could say that this is track 1. And then this little thing here is just a visual placeholder to separate the 2. So this track 2 is when the second song comes in. So if we have a look here and we scroll down and down and down and down, you see once this tune is finished, I've got a new tune here, which is Heaps Good Strongboard. So Heaps Good Strongboard picks up in the second set of 6 and goes down in a diagonal fashion. So that means I can bring in something in the percussion while something in the percussion on this track is still playing. I could change the kicks. I could stop the kick on this channel and then start the kick on this channel, etc. So this is the way that you transition between tunes. But then again, if we scroll down again, so we scroll down through all the clips here, there's got all the clips just like the last live pack here, and we get to the end, we see Swagger, and if we scroll across, we've got Swagger all cut up again, and then right down to the bottom we've got All This Time once again. So it diagonals downwards, moving from tune to tune to tune to tune to tune, and this is exactly how I do it when I play, and this is the way that I move between tunes. I have about 90 minutes to sometimes 2 hours of audio set up in a set in this fashion, and I've never had a problem with it. There's no reason why you can't load heaps and heaps of clips into the one set. So that's how I transition through, and it's it's a very effective way, and it also means that you have an element of mixing control. So I kind of come from a DJ background, so I really like mixing in between tunes. So say I've got all my outro loops happening here, and say this tune here, so I will play. Let me just play some samples. So we'll play this one, and we'll play this one. So this tune's just starting to slowly finish, and we can start bringing in things from this tune. So let's bring in this one. Excellent. And just like before, we could stop the kick on this channel and start this kick. And we'll play this sample here. So it's going to slowly die out, in theory. Or we could just fade it out. Usually I would have these volumes assigned to knobs on a MIDI controller. We'll just play this loop. And so now you see we've moved to the next tune. I mean, that's a very simplified way of doing it. I'm doing it with the mouse so you can see all the movements. But yeah, I would usually have all of these values assigned to MIDI controllers, so I could quickly bring the bass down, say the kick down of channel 1, and bring the kick up in track 2. It's a lot of fun. when you have 6 elements of control, it's kind of like your old, DJ mids, highs, lows kind of thing. But you've got 6 individual elements which are all very specific. Cool. So that's the way that I mix between tunes, and that's the first part of why I wanted to release this live set, because there seems to be a lot of people who want to figure out how to do this. So so I've got this first lot of 6, I've got the second lot of 6, but if we go over here, you can also see we've got a third lot of 6. Now this third lot of 6 is here because I wanted to be able to route the bass line from track 1 and the bass line from track 2 into the same channel, which is here, baseline, you could say, on track 3. So baseline 1 and 2 have been compressed into this single baseline, and this is handy because now I have an element of control over both the basslines from one audio track, rather than, say, applying some effects to bass 1 and some effects to bass 2. That's twice as much CPU power. I want to be able to actually control effects on whatever bassline is coming through the bass. So boom, there we go, and we can control it. Same with the kick. Both kick drums go through this kick channel, both percussion tracks go through the single percussion channel. Everything gets compressed down into one set of 6, which is really handy. So just as another example, let's say let's play this 4/4 here. Wait for it to kick in. So there's that, and we'll just play bass line. If we go along to this third set of 6, you can see the bass and the kick lit up. If I open up the ins and outs in Ableton, right here you can see that the audio 2 of bass 1, so the audio is going to dash bass, and see how I've named this track dash bass. If we look at the kick, you see it's going to dash kick, which is the one next to it, dash kick, etc. So that means if I was to turn off this bass line and go along, and we'll pick a bass line from all this time, we'll go this one. See, it's coming through the bass channel here as well. So again, now we've got a good element of control over everything. It's all about chunking things down into a manageable amount of things. I mean, if you're just a single person, you can only do so much. So figure out the way that you work in clever chunking mechanisms in order to be more effective, basically. Yeah, so that's all fun. So that's what the third set of 6 there are for. It can be kind of confusing with all the routing and everything. Sometimes you can get a bit lost, but after a bit of experience, you get used to it pretty quickly. Right, so that's how I have all the loops and whatnot set out. So you can do your own little remixes and mash tunes up and bring them in and out and do mixing and all that kind of stuff. But for effects, I use I use this technique where I guess you could say I have chains of effects which I can fire off different ones, different channels too. So I'll show you what I mean. Okay, look, here we go. Here's 3 audio tracks called FX1A, FX1B, FX1C. Now these are all chained up together in the sense that if something gets fed into FX1A loop, so it's a looper, the audio from that will go through FX1B, which is a grain delay, and anything that comes into FX1B grain delay gets fed through FX1C flanger. So the audio goes 1, 2, 3, and then out to the master. Again, I'll open up the audio ins so you can see the audio 2 goes to FX1 grain delay, or the audio of the grain delay goes to the FX1C flanger. So and these are 3 kind of effects which I have, which I like and feel that sit well together. So I could just feed any one of these channels into one of these 3 channels here. Into just this channel, and each of the 3 channels effects will be applied to that particular sound. And you can see here I've got a beat repeat on the looping channel, I've got a grain delay on the grain delay channel, and I've got a flanger here with a compressor, because flangers can get gnarly at times and it's not fun to blow people's eardrums up by accidentally doing something strange with the flanger. So that's just on a limiting setting, so there's no massive spikes of audio. So that's the first chain, and that's again a group of effects that I like. Secondly, I've got another chain here, which again all 3 of them linked up. You can see the audio 2 goes to this one, and the audio 2 of that one goes to that one. The grain delay, another grain delay, and then I've got a reverb here. You can see I've got these in instrument effects rack, so I've got all the parameters that I would want to control on the actual effects rack. And this third one in the chain is just a redux, so that's just a fun little bit reduction tool. And again, these little ones are just placeholders, so don't worry about those. They're just to give you an idea of the effects chains. And finally, I've got this effects chain, which has just a delay. So this is a delay again with just the feedback, delay time, and amount assigned to effects tracks. I've got a filter. This is a kind of a bit of a complex effects rack. If you see, we've got I've got a low pass, a high pass, a band pass, and then one that I call voice, which is kind of format driven in a way. And then I've assigned various parameters to the effects rack. So you see, if I move filter type down, if we open up the chain, you can see that it switches between each of the 4 different filters. And if we open up hide the chain, if we open up one of the filters and move the cutoff, you can see the cutoff goes up and down, and that does it for all of them there. So the band pass, it'll cut it off like that, and just see how I've tweaked it a bit with that. And the voice does a strange thing. Have a play, you'll figure it out. That's good fun. Finally, here, this is a fun one. This is a Redux with a reverb, and this is kind of really screws the sound, because you can reduce the bitrate and apply heaps of reverb at the same time. I've also put a sidechain compressor in at the end of the chain, and what happens here is you can see the audio comes from FX3A delay. So the audio comes straight from here, and then so the reverb tail gets affected by the original source. It's quite an interesting sound to play with. And I'll show you in a minute what that sounds like when we get through with it. So those are my 3 separate effects chains. Again, this is my modified version of trying to get my actual live set that I use out there into something which is legible for people who don't understand my messy way of doing everything. So it's taken a while, but I think it's pretty straightforward from now. So these 3 sets of effects, the way that we send things to these effects is by, I'm just going to hide the ins and outs. The way we do that is by utilizing the sends. Now this is another kind of complex chain in the whole thing, but it's really handy way of to quickly fire things to a send. So if I bring up the sends, that one's up a wee bit, we don't want that. So let's say I've got let's get a bassline playing. Let's stop all the clips and we'll just pick this absolute first one here. So I'm going to scroll down to these sets of 6 that mash everything together here, and we can see some audio coming through. So if I send this to send A, I'm going to take the volume right down of the channel, so there's no volume coming through now, but I'm going to send this bass track to send A by dragging up the send A parameter. If I drag it out, you can see it's a knob, make things a bit easier to understand. So I drag A up. So this is my send A here. Right, so as I bring it up, I'll just have a look at that. You can see the volume coming through here on send A here. So that's all good. If I open the ins and outs, we can see the audio of send A is going to FX1A loop, which is the first one of the first set of 3 audio tracks that are chained up. Okay, so if I bring that down, you see it takes down all the volume from these 3. But again, if I bring it up, so the sends are there to be used as a way of firing the audio off to one of those 3 sets of 3 effects. So if I was to bring send B up of the bass, see how it's now coming through the effects 2 set of 3, and if I do it on send C, it's coming through the final set. So it's a bit of a tricky thing to get your head around, but basically, I mean, all you have to remember is turning send A up will send it to the first set of 3. Turning send B up will send it to the second set of 3, see FX2. Turning send C up will send it to the third and final set of 3. And if you don't want to send it to any, you just bring the volume back up on the bass channel. So what I've attempted to do with this is map this out on the keyboard so that at any stage you can quickly push a combination of buttons and send any element of the tune to any one of those three. For example, let's say I wanted to send this bass line that's currently playing to the first set of three, which are here. So I want to send this audio to these set of three effects. What I'm going to do is push a combination of buttons which I've assigned to send A and the volume at the same time. If I go into the keys, you can see I've assigned an exclamation mark, which is Shift 1 to the volume, and capital Q to send A. So capital Q is just below exclamation mark, A is just below Q, and Z is just below A. So that kind of, if you look at your keyboard and look at the one key, the three keys underneath that will send the audio to the three different sends, and the actual one key will turn the volume off and on. So if I hold down Shift and push 1, the audio stops. If I hold down Shift and push 1 and Q at the same time, it turns the volume down of the track and sends it to send A, which in theory sends it to all these three audio tracks here. Likewise with 2, so I just push it again. So I'm holding down Shift and pushing 1 and Q at the same time, and it switches between the two. I'm going to do it again with the A key this time to send it to send B instead of send A. So I've done that, and let's go along and have a look, and now it's sending it to send B. And you can do this with all the tracks. I'll just drag these out a bit so you can have a look. So I could do this with the kick. I'll just start a kick loop in, turn the ins and outs off, make it play the main bass line for you. So we can see the bass is already going through FX track 2. Let's say I want to send the kick through A. So I'm going to hold down Shift and I'm going to push the 2 key. So you can see that the 2 key is assigned to the volume. It's the at symbol, which is the Shift and the 2 key. So you need to hold down Shift to do any of these routings here. That's just an easy way of doing it. It's also good because it prevents you from accidentally hitting a key and cutting the audio or sending it somewhere you don't want it to go. So I'm going to hold down Shift and I'm going to push the 2 key and W, and it's going to turn off the volume and send the kick track to kick 2. So now the bass is coming through this set of 3 effects, the kick is coming through this set of 3 effects. And to turn those off, I'm going to go Shift 2 and W again. So it's brought the volume back up, and I'm going to go Shift 1 and A, and it's brought the volume back up on the bass. So that's all good. I'll just stop the audio there. That's the way I've routed it to those 3 separate things of effects, which is quite fun and good. But I haven't really applied any of the effects yet. So what I'm going to do is show you the effects in action that I've got on these channels. But to add an extra element, and this is the last chain, I promise. On these tracks, I have dummy clips. And dummy clips are clips similar to these loops that we've got over here. So they're loops, but they have absolutely no audio. They're there specifically to just automate effects. So for example, on this FX1 a loop which has this beat repeat, I'll just hide that. You can see I've assigned the repeat time and the beat repeat off, which just turns it off and on, to macro knobs in the audio effect rack. If we scroll down and we get down to the scenes which are called dummy clips, so here we have scenes called dummy clips, you'll notice there are no more clips over here and where all the audio tracks are, but now where all the effects are, we have all these clips to play with. And these clips are just blank, so if we open them up you can see they've got no audio, but they send parameters to the actual effect which is on the channel. For example, let's go quarter. Okay, so this quarter, what this does is it tells the beat repeat to start looping at quarter note intervals. And the way it does this is if we open up the clip down here and we go to the drop down parameter envelope menu, we go to auto effect rack and repeat time. You can see the repeat time is at a particular value which loops it at a quarter. So to show you what I mean here, I'm going to stop all the clips and we'll get a bass line playing. What should we use? Swagger's fun. Use that. Swagger. Alright, so let's play the main bass line. So we can see it's coming, at the moment it's coming through just straight through in that bass 1 track. that we talked about, where it compresses all the audio tracks. I want this to go through this first FX1 loop. So just as before, I'm going to hold down Shift, I'm going to push 1 in Q. And you can see we now have audio here. So now any of these effects we turn on are going to slowly start to affect the bass line. I'm just going to bring in a kick as well, so I've got a point to listen to. So the kick's just going to go straight out, the bass is going through these first set of 3. And we're going to muck around with the dummy clips of this first one. So if I was to hit, again, this 1/4, what's going to happen is it's going to loop that, what's being fed through the bass at a quarter note interval, hopefully. There you go. The computer's wigging out. And if I want to turn that off, I click on this no loop up here. Let's try third. Yeah. So there we've caught the loop at a third. We turn it to 8th. Let's go really fast. And we'll hit no loop again. So these are great fun. These no loops are obviously what you want to hit when you've either had enough or it's just too crazy and doesn't sound good. So I've assigned these no loop, you see each of these tracks as dummy clips. I've assigned the no loop clip of each of these tracks a key. So if we open up key, we see I've assigned no loop of the loop effect to the 1 key. So that means if I play something, it's quite cool. And if I want to stop it, I push 1, and it turns the loop off for me. Very, very nice and easy. So these are incremental values of the beat repeat. If we open up the beat repeat and have a look, it's quite fun to watch. So we'll turn on this one, and you can see the grid here going down and down. And push 1 again, no loop. So these are incremental. They will loop it at certain intervals. If we go down, I've made a set of loops which the parameters move around. So let's take this 1 bar build. Let's open it up so you can see the repeat time changes as the loop plays. So if I play this, and you can see how it instantly goes back to no loop without me having to do anything. That's because if we open the clip, you see I've set a follow action, so after 1 bar it's going to go back to the first clip in the series, which is the no loop. If I play this one, it's still a 4 bar build. Caught it at a funny time, but you get the idea. So all these are individual, just little things I've played with. The next set I have here are just variations. So these ones are more build oriented, so they kind of build up the bass line or are good for fills. These ones are good for just messing with just various aspects of the tune. Play one of these 1 bar ones for you. It's quite cool. I'll put in some. Let's put in the snare. Actually, we'll put in some open hi-hats as well. A bit cheesy. So we'll take the percussion loop out of that, and we'll go for a percussion loop from this set of clips. What should we do? Let's go hats and snare. It's quite cool. So instantly we've created a whole new song because we've mixed loops from all 4 of the songs. We've created these looping effects with the dummy clips. Let's pick another one. we open up the beat repeat, you can see the automation happening here. So I'm just going to stop those percussion hits. And again, if we want to stop these dummy clips playing, we push 1. And it goes back to the original. But for now, I'm just going to loop it on. I'm just going to loop it on a quarter again. Put it on 3rd. Okay. And also another thing to note is if we look on. Actually, no, we won't do that now. So that's the first one in the series of the chain. I won't get that into depth with the other dummy clips, but you see over here where we've got a grain delay on the second one, if we play these incremental values, it's going to give a delay effect. So now it's doubled it. We play some of these. And we push 2 if we want that to stop, because it's on this one here, and the 2 key is assigned to the no loop. If we look here, the 2 key is assigned. So it's good fun with the grain delay. I'll just change this loop again. We'll play this one. We'll play make a 2-bar. Let's play with the flanger. Again, we've got dummy clip set up on the flanger. So if we play. These are just values of the LFO, which is sweeping the flanger up and down. So if we put it on 1, it'll go faster. Half we'll do it. Quarter. 1/8. 1/16. 32. And then we've got variations here. So really, really good tools to manipulate actual samples and loops. And I've also assigned a few of the other keys below the number keys to play some of these. So for instance, E, D and C are the 3 keys which are below 3, and of course 3 is the key which turns off the actual loops. So if we hit 3, it's going to play no loop, but if we hit E, it's going to play the 1-bar variation. D, it's going to play the next one. C, 3. And then we push 1 to turn off the looping part of that clip. So that gives you an idea of just a tip of the iceberg on what you can actually do and how you can feed these things to different chains. So we've got the bass line coming through this first set of 3. Let's send the kick through the second set of 3, and again by doing that I'll push Shift and 2, which will turn the kick off, and I'll push S, which will make the kick come through center B, and center B is here, which sends the audio to this set of 3 tracks here. And now we've got another grain delay to play with these effects. Let's do some of these, because the kick's coming through, it's doing funny things. Crazy loops that do all kinds of gnarly things. See, they change all kinds of bits. See, grain delay, we're changing the spray, and we're changing we're not doing it there, but yeah. And of course we push 4 to turn that one off. The reverb, might send something else through the reverb. So I'm going to turn the kick off from sending to that second set by pushing Shift S and pushing Shift 2 to bring the level back up again. Let's turn the bass line off because it's getting a bit annoying. What can we put? Let's put this. What's this loop here? That's a good one. I'll turn the kick off as well. So now we've just got this synth loop going. If we go down to the set of 6, which combines everything, we see on the synth channel we've got the loop coming through. So if we push Shift 4, it's going to turn it off, and if we push Shift F, it's going to send it through the second set of 2. And we can play with the reverb. So let's go and see what dummy clips I've got for the reverb. Let's try this one. Oh, this is coming through chain 1, which is a delay. My apologies. These set of dummy clips will play the delay with the reverb. You can see it all happening down here. And all these macros are being manipulated by this dummy clip. Let's play another one. Play the reverb. So you really can change the sound quite dramatically with these things. And of course, oops, I meant to push 5. So if you hit stop, what it'll do is it'll stop playing the dummy clip, and then the parameters that will at the very end of that dummy clip, it'll let them stick. So it's important to hit no loop if you want actually no effect to be playing over the sound. And the redux, we just have a just nice and drastic. Don't have any dummy clips set up for that. I usually just have that assigned to a knob. And we might as well just show you the last set of 3. So I'm going to turn this off by pushing Shift and F. So it's turned it off. If I push Shift and V, which is below F, it's now sending it through this set of clips here. And these are all controlled just by using the mouse or using MIDI controllers. I haven't got dummy clips set up on these. So what's happening here? So the filter is currently playing through the voice setting. Oh no, so we'll turn the filter down to its bottom value, so it's going through this low. You can see the levels here on the chain here. If I turn when the filter type is on 0, it actually turns it off here, so it actually turns the power off. If I bring it up to here, it's now a low pass filter. So I can drag it up and down. If I drag the filter type up a bit, it turns into a high pass filter. Up a bit more, it's a band pass filter. And all the way goes to this crazy voice one. So I'm going to turn the filter off for a second. We'll go to the delay. Again, here's your feedback, so we can just turn. And you can change the delay time. And this is your amount. This just turns it up and down. This is handy for, say if I leave this on, so if I leave it like that, and I go back to these clips here and turn the actual synth channel up and turn it off. So this is handy for if you want to quickly send something off to a reverb. So if I hold down Shift and push V, it'll quickly send this track to that set of 3, which will just delay away. If I turn the feedback up, you'll be able to hear it a lot better. So Shift V. So you can hear it delaying out. I'll bring this down a bit so you can hear it. So I've just sent this delay, and because the feedback is on 100, it's going to continuously loop. So now we could go to this filter and we could turn it on. Turn it on high pass. I'm just going to turn this all the way down just so we can play with this. So, and now we've got this loop going on. We could change the delay time so it's more of a 4/4 type loop. So we've got this whole new thing to play with. Let's put it on that voice one. No, I'll just leave it as a low pass. And we'll go along to the final effect, which is this reverb. So we could turn some reverb on. And see how the side chain is side chaining the reverb tail so it doesn't get too overwhelming. We could change the size of the... And I've got some reduxes here. And you can... Here's the element of side chaining that's going to happen. So I've got this whole new crazy loop going. Let's make it a bit more... bit crazier. And now we could bring in a kick and make a whole new tune from all this fun. And of course I've just stopped everything and the feedback's on 100%, so it's just going to keep looping and looping, so I'll just bring that down and it'll slowly die away. Lots of fun, eh? So that's it basically. That's this version of it. This is version 0.1. So I haven't been able to get everything which I'd like to in the set, because it's difficult to find a way to convert it into something which can be very general and used by everyone. So I'm constantly going to build on this and work it and build it up. But yeah, have a play around with that. Hopefully there's enough in there to keep you quite busy and whatnot. And again, this is my way of doing it, so it's heavily dependent on the way that I work. And I mean, the reason I make this is so people can figure out, or jump in the deep end and figure out how somebody else does it who's actually out there and actively playing, and then they can go and figure out their own way of doing it. I guess I mean, you're welcome to use this identically to how I'm doing. In fact, you know, you're most welcome to go out and use this in a club or something and just play entirely my music under your own name. I don't really mind, but I'm sure that it'll spark ways of or open doors for you in the way that you work.